Okay, so I will give an introduction on the PEEX program and especially focus a bit on the science plan and our research collaboration with Russian universities and research organizations. And I would start with some basic things that here in Helsinki we have been, our main research question or large-scale concept question has been that why understanding of atmosphere, Earth surface, biosphere is so important for climate change. And the answer is that we need to understand these new feedback mechanisms, interactions and process, because it is the key issue for mitigation and adaptation plans. And in this framework, we have established tools for understanding these various interactions and feedbacks. First of all, Pan-Eurasian experiment program was established in 2012. And as already mentioned, Sergei Silitinkevich had here a significant role introducing us and Helsinki group and teams, Russian universities, and established this collaboration. So PEEX started as a bilateral collaboration framework between Finland and Russian, but it has expanded and we have a lot of European collaboration and also very significant collaboration with Chinese universities and organizations. Global Observatory or Global SMER initiative was established in 2015, and it stands for Stations Measuring Earth Surface Atmosphere Relations Initiative for Global Observatory, and the idea is the filling the observational gap in this atmosphere ecosystem in situ data. And these are the two initiatives and programs we are promoting from here, from the University of Helsinki, and we are extremely happy that we have been established a nice collaboration with Russian organizations. As already said, that this event is also one of the Silitinkevich memorial series in the series of memorial events. And in this, I would like to also remind us that we are soon launching the first international Silitinkevich award, and the winner of this award will be announced on 7th December in Helsinki. We have this memorial seminar, and this you can follow this seminar online, and I will give you further information in the end of this presentation that of course you are all welcome to join and follow this event. And of course, Markku is our frontman for both PEEX program and Global Observatory initiatives. If you think about the bigger picture from PEEX perspectives, it's really ambitious and it aims for resolving grand challenges in sustainable way in the Northern Eurasian region and in China. And the slogan or motto for this program is from deep understanding to practical solutions. So this is not a traditional research program. It is multi-scale, multidisciplinary research approach, but it also is very interested on coherent, coordinated research infrastructures and developing the in-situ stations in Northern Eurasian regions. But also it's about providing science services based on scientific information, and we would like to really make an impact on society and help people in under this changing climate. But also this kind of event like this MEGAPOLIS is that these kind of multidisciplinary education is fundamental part of the PEEX program. Here you see few maps. So in this, the collaboration with Russian organizations is focused on Arctic Boreal region, where we are focusing on this land-atmosphere interactions and feedbacks. And with China, we are interested in these new Silk Road economic regions, where we know that there will be in the future these huge transport corridors from China across the Eurasian to Europe. And this will perhaps, well, it's expected that there will be increase of anthropogenic emissions, and we will really need some kind of coordinated current observation system providing big data for us and to make better mitigation and adaptation. Here is the link for the PEEX program website, and there you can download the science plan. And this science plan is about 200-page long document, and I would really recommend you to download this book. It was released in 2015, but still today it gives a very good introduction to these research questions, which are very relevant to this northern Eurasian region, and it can be used in also for educational purposes and to provide you general understanding on the land, atmospheric, aquatic systems and anthropogenic activities affecting our environment, and also the larger frameworks like these feedbacks and biochemical cycles. So the book is structured in a way that for each of the system we have analyzed, or we have identified three main issues to be studied more closely in the upcoming years, but also gives nice introduction to the existing research infrastructure in the northern Eurasian region, like these in-situ stations and satellite monitoring activities. And it also introduces our ideas how to make better impact on society. I already mentioned these services and this different kind of forecasting services, but also there is a kind of aspect of innovation and new technologies closely related to the development of in-situ observation systems and different scenarios and assessments for the policy making. And also the fourth pillar is this knowledge transfer and this kind of events just that we are having now in the following days in the frame of MEGAPOLIS. Some baseline for our approach, and we were very inspired by the book published by Lauren Smith on New North, the world in 2050, and these are some kind of baselines also for gives baselines for the ideas of the PEEX program, that there are global forces modifying the northern regions within the next 40 years. And in this book and our ideas are built on this scheme, what you see here, that we have these global forces like variation and movements of populations, climate change, and natural resources and how they will be used, and globalization where we have different processes like economic, social, and technological processes which would make world interconnected. And one of the cross-cutting themes is this technology, geoengineering, and different kind of nanotech and energy production and material sciences. So this is the very big vision behind the PEEX program, which is built on. Also, that the fact which we already know that northern regions and high latitudes will undergo substantial changes, and there are scenarios predicting this significant increase of temperature by IPCC, and some society relevant things, that there will be this expected and increased use of shipping routes in the Arctic Ocean. These are some kind of baseline thoughts behind the PEEX program. I would also like to address that before PEEX, we and Markku Kulmala led this Nordic Center of Excellence on cryosphere-atmosphere interactions in a changing Arctic climate. And here is the scheme and big picture, which is also the PEEX program is continuing in the same lines, that we have this metascale kind of connections between forcing and climate change, Arctic boreal regions, how it changes our ecosystem, snow, sea and land ice, and how this all is interconnected. And this is the scheme for the COPAC feedback loop, biosphere, aerosol, cloud, climate, and this has been under intensive investigations in our 9-year period of Finnish Centers of Excellence, also led by Markku Kulmala. And this is just on one example of the feedback loop. There are other feedback loops and feedback loops which we don't even know yet, and this is why we need this kind of very comprehensive measurements. So this feedback loop is about boreal forest and biological activity, photosynthesis, how we as a side process we have these biogenic volatile organic compounds emitted by the forests, and how they are connected to aerosol formation processes and effective different loops of radiation balance and cloud formation. And then there is again connections to temperature and increase of CO2 concentrations. There is a scheme of atmospheric system and in interactions. It's very, as you see, it's very complex, and actually these kind of parts of these interactions will be discussed also during this 4-day training, and there are at least 4 presentations which I have listed there. So they are tackling these questions related to these interactions and part of the atmospheric system. Also, we have presentations on PEEX research in infrastructures, and there in the left you see the conceptual idea of the PEEX infrastructure. And in the end, that the idea would be that we would provide different services, as I already mentioned. And there is an example of the existing research infrastructure and activities by the Institute of Atmospheric Physics and Measurements provided by Elansky. And there you see those red crosses, which are very comprehensive stations already. And in the left, you see the map of SMER stations located in Finland, and this is the especially I would like to address this SMER 2 station in Hyytiälä, which Markku also mentioned in his talk, that we are having there these data analysis courses. And there will be presentations on this from the infrastructure point of view on remote sensing and in situ stations. Well, there will be several presentations during these 4 days. Then I think in the afternoon we hear a presentation on Risto Makkonen and on the modeling point of view. And here is the schematic picture of the temporal and spatial scales of modeling and observations within the PEEX domain. So there is a seamless continuation, or the aim is that we have seamless continuation from nanocluster models up to integrated Earth system models. And so we have huge number of models representing different scales and time, spatial and time scales. And there will be several presentations from the modeling point of view during these 4 days. We have also presentations on environmental health, and it's important to understand the different aspects of mitigation and adaptation point of view. And well, I won't go here in detail, just to welcoming also on my behalf to Hyytiälä data analysis courses next spring. This is from the organization point of view that we are very thankful, and we have had excellent collaboration with Moscow State University and Sergei Chalov, who is coordinating these activities. But we have also other offices in Russia and also in China. And from the official point of view, we have at the moment 38 PEEX memorandum of understanding signed by the universities and research organizations in Russian, and 7 PEEX memorandums with Chinese organizations, and the key collaboration is this Digital Belt and a Road program. PEEX science plan as well. I'm welcoming also the MEGAPOLIS results to be published in PEEX special issue. It's open in atmospheric chemistry and physics, and then we have also published papers in Big Earth Data Journal and in Journal of Geographic Environment and Sustainability. So we are welcoming papers there, and this gives a kind of vision of the focus where the research results has been published. So we are quite a lot atmospheric sciences orientated community still, although our aim is to multidisciplinary concept and collaboration. So these presentations on environmental health are very, very welcomed openings in this PEEX collaboration, so where we go across different disciplines, and for in this case we have medical and these medical and health sciences. Also welcoming you to visit this new paper which has been published in Atmospheric and Physics. It introduces the recent advances on understanding the Northern Eurasian environment and urban air quality in China, and introduces basically the latest research in a frame of PEEX collaboration from the last 5 years. And as you see that there are many co-authors also from Russian, and most of you, or many of them you may or know by person. Here is one example in this paper made by Risto Makkore. It is introducing the chasings in 2 meters temperature in the upper panel and precipitation during the 21st century. And in the left you see the winter months, and in the right you see the summer months, and you can see how this temperature increase is especially addressed during the winter months, and the precipitation is also increasing. Here are some highlights of our Russian collaboration. We have had a collaboration with Svetlana Malkatsova from Moscow State University, especially analyzing this medical geographical distribution of natural fog diseases in Yamal-Nienemets autonomous region. And then also very nice collaboration with academician Vladimir Melnikov group from the University of Tyumen. And we have analyzed permafrost temperature data and patches of Arctic ecosystem responses and adaptation to changing climate. We have already also brought our equipment to Tomsk, and we have a collaboration with Tsuev Institute of Atmospheric Optics and published also several peer-reviewed papers based on this measurements. And yeah. And then also collaboration with Ukraine State University with Professor Elena Lapshina, and these activities are coordinated from our side by Professor Timo Vesala, and this collaboration is focused on greenhouse gas fluxes at the Markku Field Station in West Siberia. And here is one example still from Etsova et al. Paper, which has been just recently published in EcoHealth, and it shows it is kind of outline of connections between climate factors and anthrax outbreaks in the Arctic, and how we are, and Etsova et al. Is able to connect this anthrax outbreak to different factors and how they are controlling these anthrax outbreaks. So, for example, that one of the results were that summer precipitation has especially impact on these events, and not only the permafrost thawing and soil contamination. Well, the soil contamination is the baseline here. Markku Kulmala has published this Build a Global Earth Observatory paper in Nature, and one of our key messages has been that we would need something like 1,000 or more well-equipped ground stations around the world to track these environmental and key ecosystems fully and continuously. And in this framework, we are especially launching this Hytiälä 2 station proof of concept, and that this kind of Hytiälä 2 stations would be important to have this level of stations, not only in Northern Eurasian, but also globally. And this would help researchers to find these mechanisms and feedback loops in the coherent data set, and policymakers to test policies and their impacts, and companies to develop environmental services. Some up-to-date and high momentum things are these United Nations Sustainable Development Goals, and from our perspective, especially this number 11, 12, and 13, the urgent actions to combat climate change and its impacts, and make cities and human settlements inclusively safe and resilient and sustainable. And how this latest report is again addressing this global warming, especially for the Arctic regions, and that we all perhaps have following this Glasgow COP26 meeting, and we had these high expectations of the agreements, and now we know the outcome of this Glasgow. But from our perspective is that this data which are used for the IPCC report is based on atmospheric parameters, but very often they are still measured in different places, and this smear stations concept would help us to get more high quality data. And there is a just recently published paper on these thoughts called Atmospheric and Ecosystem Big Data Providing Key Contributions in Reaching United Nations Sustainable Development Goals, Kulmala et al., published in Big Earth Data. And there in this paper we introduce our ideas that what is the potential of the Hytiala 2 station concept, and how it would help us to make a global comprehensive feedback analysis. Some summarizing words. So PEEX program and project like MEGAPOLIS are addressing high-level research and infrastructure in the topical areas, which are needed to find practical solutions and ensure our sustainable development in the Northern Eurasian and Silk Road environment and societies and economies in this region. And especially when we think about this region, new understanding of the land atmosphere interactions together with coordinated comprehensive observations system is the key, and if we think about investing the in situ stations, these plans are needed also to attract global government and private sector investments. I end my presentation here advertising this Designing Science-Based Solutions event taking place 7th to 10th December. We have a registration still open, so I'm welcoming you to register today, hopefully. And there is a link. And in this week, there is a 4-day program. We focus on different aspects of making impact on society, and well, the first day, as I said, is dedicated to Sergei Silitinkiewicz Memorial Seminar, and I would like to perhaps say that this is a kind of impact on research communities to understand really this kind of exceptional, as Silitinkiewicz is example of exceptional scientist, not only in specialized on atmospheric sciences and physics, but also he has a kind of wide understanding of and he was truly multidisciplinary person. And also at the end of this seminar, we will launch this first Silitinkiewicz International Award. So I hope that especially the Russian communities will be presented in large scale online to following this event. On Wednesday, we are more focused on climate change air quality, and we will launch this kind of stakeholder arena. And the idea is that we really start collaborating, especially with companies, and hear their ideas, what is needed from the research communities for them to better answer the climate change challenge from in their own activities and emissions and carbon footprint. On Thursday, we have Arctic science collaborations. ASCOR, this is a 2-year project sponsored by Prince Albert Foundation, and the main focus in this project is to identify and enhance the collaboration between ocean and terrestrial scientists, and really to be able to tackle and identify the key topics for this in the frame of interactions and Arctic Ocean land atmosphere interactions. On Friday, we have a special day dedicated for civil engagement, and there will be a panel discussions and talks by search representatives and from ministries. With this word, I welcome you. I wish you a very nice training event,